Good evening. My name's Steve Marvel. I'm a rescue and survival specialist, and I'm taking the Refugee Ration Challenge. That's for Concern Worldwide, which is a hunger-related charity. Good evening, good evening, good evening. It is the end of day one of the ration challenge for Concern Worldwide, where I'm eating just the rations that would be given to a refugee. That is a week of rations, which I did a video on the other day. Today I made some flatbreads. I had a burrito with beans and rice. What did I have for tea? I had fried rice because I got a bit of oil, and yeah, I was a bit up and downy in terms of energy and fatigue, and that is because I am eating a lot of carbs, which I'm not used to. I'm used to a sort of varied protein fat sort of diet, and what I've done is I found myself going up and down, up and down, up and down, and so tomorrow I will be eating little and often, and because that way back when I was weight training, that's what I would eat. I would eat like 5 or 6 meals a day. And in fact, if you look at the meal planner for the ration challenge, it does say snacks. Now, I haven't quite worked out how to make snacks. Rice crackers apparently is a thing. So, yeah, lesson learned, little and often. Yeah, go back to that style of eating. Be mindful of the fact that I'm just eating basically carbs, and the white carbs for that matter. So, yeah, survival situation, refugee situation, disaster, carb-rich diet, white carb-rich diet. Yeah, little and often, very, very important. I'll speak to you tomorrow. Good evening. It is day 2 of the ration challenge. Today I have eaten crepes. Basically flour and water and a bit of milk and a bit of salt. And I've eaten egg fried rice because I had an egg. It is very important to eat your dinner before your dessert, as well you know. Unless, of course, you're a 6-year-old, in which case it's really, really weird. And I'm eating quite basically at the moment. I've not used my lentils. I've not used my chickpeas. I've not made anything particularly spicy. And that's because, having just got out of eating normal stuff, I don't mind a bit of bland. I can get away with a bit of bland. However, if I ate all the good stuff and then got to the end and it was just like rice, then I might actually get quite depressed about the whole thing. And I'm not being funny about it. It might be that you just don't want it and then just end up being a bit ill about it, because if you don't want it, you don't eat it, and then there's no energy and it's all there. So there is a lesson here as well, that is, in a survival situation, and all this, everything comes around to a survival situation. If you've got some food, but you can get some food, then use the food that you can get. If you haven't got enough, then supplement a bit. If you've not got the right balance, then supplement a bit. And this is the same with water. if you can get water, get water. Drink wild water before you drink these lovely bottled water that you might have kicking around. If you've got wild food, then eat the wild food before you use the nice, easy, and it is the easy food that you might have kicking around. Because, and I've said this before, if it's chucking it down with rain or you've had to move away from a water source, it'd be nice to have that food and water like now without having to go searching for a new source of water or food. So, yeah, save the best till last, just like you would. If you got to eat all your dinner, then you start with the crap bit and then you end up with the good bit. Most people would eat sprouts first, for instance. I actually like sprouts, so I get them somewhere in the middle. But yeah, don't eat all the good stuff first, or you might have a problem finding the other stuff, or you might just not like it. And yeah, wild food before domestic type food, wild water before domestic type water, and that's the best advice I've got in a survival situation for that. Good evening. It is day 3 of the ration challenge. Today I made flatbreads. I had more rice. It's amazing how much rice you can get, and it's amazing how much rice you can eat. Realistically, given the other things, lentils and that are in short supply compared to rice, you really have to get into rice every meal. And that's okay, because you can supplement it with a little bit of beans and kidney beans, a little bit of fish or whatever it might be. But yeah, getting your thought on. But yeah, rice, especially rice for breakfast, then it keeps your energy up, even though, little and often. But today I want to talk about salt. Salt has 2 functions. One is it makes your food taste nicer. Not that banging a load of salt on, but correctly seasoned with salt food. If you can taste the salt, it's too salty. If you're eating and then it just goes, at the end, you've not got enough salt. That's just a rule of thumb. So it makes things taste nice. But it is a mineral, amongst other minerals, which the body requires for life. No sodium, bad. Yeah, sodium chlorate is the principal ingredient of salt. Others being magnesium, potassium, iron. I think there's some iodine banged into table salt, as well as anti-caking agents. But largely sodium. Sodium is associated with fluid balance. It's associated with nerve conduction. In fact, recently, because I've got a bit of a nerve issue, the doctor said have more salt. My salt balance, my salt levels were, my sodium levels were slightly low. So it said get some more salt in you. And muscle contraction. So if you don't do that, then that's bad. So in a nutshell, if you season your food correctly, then you'll get enough salt. When somebody says, oh no, you can't have salt, you must have salt. Yeah, get your RDA in, and it's not an RDA like recommended daily amount. If you can't, don't say, oh no, I want to be under my RDA. You need to be close to your RDA because you need it. You need the salt. Now then, if you've got particular medical conditions, and I'm not a doctor, take advice from your doctor. But if you're having a zero sodium diet, you're going to be in trouble. Yeah, nerves, fluids, muscles, this is all going to be bad news. So should you find yourself in a survival situation, yes, go and steal whatever you can from your crashed plane, but get the little salt sachets that they give you for your food. Though chances are all the plane meals will be horribly salty anyway, but you'll need them. They are also super, super good. With a little bit of sugar if you can, because it helps the body absorb it, for rehydration. And rehydration is a good thing. If you've been sweating like a badass, you're going to be off balance with your sodium, and you'll be needing to poke that in with other electrolytes. And I'll do a whole thing on electrolytes another day. But yeah, salt in this particular exercise, this fundraising link in the description, thing that I'm doing is really important because lentils and rice taste shit without a bit of salt. Yeah, but they're just a little bit bland. Certainly lentils are. Good evening. My name's Steve Marvel. I'm a survival and rescue specialist, and I am on day 4 of the ration challenge, where I spend 7 days eating a single week ration pack, which is the sort of thing that would be given to a refugee. Today I want to talk about poo. It's on the support forum, there's been a great deal of chatting about lack of pooping. This isn't so much because of the lack of food, because quite honestly, there isn't a lack of food. It's the type of food that's going on, and the regime under which it's being eaten. What's happening quite a lot is people are making nice things out of the nice bits, but I'm not eating the rights. In the big scheme of things, we have like 1.9 kilos of rice, which translates to something like 20, whatever it is. I can't do the maths off the top of my head. It's basically it's four portions of rice a day, which is rice. There's lots and lots of rice. It's 60 grams a portion per person. That's I can't work it out. I did work it out just for this video, and now I can't. Anyway, there's lots and lots and lots of rice, and lots of rice should be supplemented with the things that taste nice. This is like having a load of stuff that tastes gash and having some wild garlic and sticking that with the food because that makes it taste nice. Whereas what's going on right now is that people are just being left with rice. That is a strategy that's not being adhered to. So there's lots of people becoming quite depressed that all they've got is rice because that's all they didn't eat. They ate all of the good stuff. I am using all the good stuff as a supplement to the rice, in that the rice is bland, but for some salt and a little bit of spice. But you make a dal, you only need a little bit to make that rice taste nice. So yes, it's all about rice, not about good stuff. The consequence of this is you get bunged up. It's not about the food, it's about what's inside you. If you're not drinking enough water and you're not eating vegetables which are full of water, we get a great deal of our water intake, like masses of our water intake from food. And yeah, even lettuce, and especially cucumber, apples, all that fruit and vegetable that you'd normally eat, and just drinking loads of milk. You have milk on your cereals. That's not happening. Eating rice. And yeah, chickpeas and lentils aren't particularly wet either, nor is anything you make out of them, unless you make soup. So yeah, the problem that people are having is they're not drinking enough water to compensate for the fact that they're bunging themselves up. So yes, it's not all about the lack of food, it's about the lack of water, because they'll probably find that when they do, they'll be constipated. I've had this in the past, but yeah, they'll be constipated because they didn't drink enough water, because they didn't have the right minerals. See other video, because that balls up with your fluid balance. And so poop, getting the poop out is really, really, really important. Yes, diarrhea is a really, really bad thing. You'll dehydrate to fuck. But keeping the poop in is no good at all. I've had people on courses that just will not poop in the woods. Some of them for like 5 days. It's like, are you joking? Yeah, there was not a lot of food going on, but 5 days in the woods without pooping, it's just because I didn't want to shit in the woods. But yeah, being full of shit in the literal kind of way is actually really, really, really bad for you. And it just gets worse and worse and worse. At which point you will find that trying to get it out can sometimes require some form of doctor. And can you imagine how that's going to be? That's not going to be very nice at all. So yeah, that's poop, that's rice, and that's water. Wet stuff is really, really important. Eating the rice is really important. I've eaten loads of rice, but I made a dal, quite wet. And yeah, I totally made my rice taste nice. And I'm going to be able to do that for 3 days because I have had it for 2. But it's with the rice. It's all about the rice. I'm going to say it's rice, like many portions of rice a day. Yeah, I say tomorrow because I've had 4 days now. What have I got left? Some kidney beans, some hummus I made, some rice, a little bit of milk, some oil. Oil's good. Get the oil in you. An egg. Some flour. That's about it. Can't remember anything else. But yeah, I'm not going doolally. But yeah, drink water, drink water, drink water. Stay hydrated. It's really important. Take it easy. I'll see you tomorrow. Good evening. And yeah, it's day 5. I have thus far raised just over £500. At £495, I'd raised enough for 3 people to be fed for a year. My target is £660, which would be the 4th. My dal has gone. I've got a lot of rice, but I've portioned it out. I've rationed that out. But today I want to talk to you about waste. Now, I can't abide waste at the best of time, let alone in a refugee style or survival type situation. However, there's a strange mentality that you can fall into, and I see this on courses a great deal, is that people start with a sort of lackadaisical attitude towards waste, and then all of a sudden, like 4 days in, they're like, oh, if I'd actually saved those bones, whatever, make a stock, maybe I'd blah blah blah, or he does little things like gone slightly further down on that leaf or whatever, or group of leaves. For instance, here's one that works. If you've got an onion, maybe or maybe not, you will peel the onion by just taking the top layer off. Well, if you have 6 onions, that's 6 top layers. If you banged all those together by just peeling off the little bit, you'd have another onion. It's the sort of thing that's really, really important, is not wasting stuff. In this challenge, yes, there's lots of rice, and no, I'm not wasting any of it, but there's lots and lots of other things, and I am being super careful about that as well. I've got this sort of tin of sardines that I had every little bit of oil out of that, because oil is really, really important. It's essential fatty acids. It's incredible. And though that only represented a few calories, that vitamins and minerals was really, really important. And the protein in the fish was really, really important. But yeah, in civvy life, maybe if you've got a tuna tin, you might leave a little bit of tuna in there. Certainly drain the oil off quite often, wouldn't you say? And yeah, I just wanted to introduce you to the concept of waste and its importance in survival type situation. But now, hopefully, you'll think about it in a civilian type situation, because not only is it just wasteful, but yeah, you can save money, and that's a great thing. So yeah, be careful, don't waste stuff, and in a survival situation, think about waste. It's really, really important. Catch you tomorrow. Right, so day 6 ration challenge. today I'm going to talk about activity. There is, there's no doubt you know, two ways of losing weight, gaining weight, or otherwise staying still. And that is, do less work or eat less food. Either of those things will cause you to lose weight. Now, as a refugee or a survivor, or in fact anybody, you do not want to lose weight. Certainly don't want to lose weight. There is no point in putting weight on as such. You want to maintain weight. So, given that you're going to be having less food, you have to, in fact, do less work. Inactivity is not quite what I mean. I mean limiting activity. Inactivity is something different we talk about when we talk about planning. Now, the thing about activity is that we have to choose the activities that we do. Now, one might say, but Steve, I'm going to go food collecting. Well, it's like, well, that's a bloody good idea. We're going to expend some energy in order to get some food, which is our source of energy. This is no doubt a great idea. However, how far are we going for this particular food stuff? Are we going uphill? Are we going downhill where we have to go uphill again? You know, so what is it that we have to consider? Are we carrying heavy loads? We need to ensure that the food that we are collecting, or at least potentially collecting, and this is what we talk about in planning, the food that we're going to collect actually has a positive impact on our ability to maintain weight. Yes, if you've got more food, that's great, but let's not eat all the food. Let's not say, oh, I've got loads of food, therefore I can do loads of activity. Want to limit your activity. It's not that you do no activity, it's that you're going to limit your activity to that which you need, that which has a balancing effect of positive. Now, at some point or another, you've got to collect firewood. You've got to collect water. Now, you might actually have your camp close to water or food, or to wherever it might be, which means you don't have to walk. But we do recommend that you have a routine where you go, you get some water, get some firewood. Having checked your traps, get your firewood last because it's more weight to carry around. But yeah, that routine means you're only taking a little bit of extra activity in order to get food. The foods we're looking for, if we can get them, are high in carbohydrate, high in protein, high in fats. And we talk about this when we talk about nutrition. You can get lots and lots of greenery, but it's largely water. It's 80-90% water. But it makes some things taste nice. And in the big scheme of things, have to analyze what's important. Now, sometimes it's important if you've got like wood sorrel or something like that, which is a sort of vitamin C, which is very important because you can't store vitamin C. But again, you need to do that as part of your routine. Nobody just goes and spends loads of energy to take a little bit of vitamins. it might be the case that the correct action is to not go and look for food. Just like it might be that the correct action is not to go and look for firewood, be it danger or the like. You know, it's a big thing, planning and activity and energy, but it is the thing to remember is that we are trying to maintain weight, not losing it, not putting it on, and we're trying to ration our food in such a way that we can use as little of it per day, and then limit our activities to match that, not match our activities to the amount of food that we can eat. Good evening. It is it's the end of day 7 of the ration challenge. I adopted a strategy of eating all of it because, as the other videos have said, I didn't want to lose weight, because that's not the point. This isn't a diet, isn't to prove that you lose weight if you're a refugee. It's to prove that you can get a meal that you will actually want to eat, if you like, and variety with this ration pack. My strategy was to use the rice as a base, use the other things as flavouring. I raised 568 pounds for Concern Worldwide. That is approximately enough to feed 3 and a little person for a year with these refugee packs. I'm very proud of myself. Well, that was weird. Wi-Fi fail. I'm very, very proud of myself, but you can still contribute, which I'd greatly appreciate. And that can happen with the link that's in the description. I want to talk about one more thing, which is relevant to the challenge and relevant to the survival world. That is whinging. Whinging is there was a great deal of whinging. There's a great deal of this isn't the rules. This is the no. And it just took somebody recently to say, you know what? This is about empathy. This is about understanding. This is about challenge. So when people are saying, oh no, it's against the rules to have basmati rice instead of long grain rice, it's just like, are you fucking joking? Does it make any difference whatsoever? You know what, you might not like red lentils, so you use green ones. You know, it's not dreadful. Yeah, you might not like a tin of sardines, but there's roughly the same amount of protein and oil in a tin of tuna. So what? You know, so what? Is it so important to whinge? No, it sounds like I'm whinging, but I'm not. I'm making a point. And the point is that if you're in a situation, a survival situation, an emergency or disaster situation, you need to be there. You need to turn up. You need to accept, Wi-Fi. You need to accept what's going on. You need to basically turn up. You need to man up is what you need to do. And you need to accept the situation for what it is, not what you are owed, what you think is, it's all about you and whinging is a waste of energy. Yeah. All it is, your desires are just not being met. So, you know what, just get over it. That's all about you. So, in a survival situation, accept what's going on and turn up and get on with it. I've got part 2 of a Can You Cope in an interview, in a survival situation interview coming up. And there's details in the Facebook group, and I'd love you to, it's going to be a live interview again. I think it's on the 22nd. Get in the Facebook group and it will be there. So it's all over, but do contribute if you can, because it's an incredible cause, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.